Perfect.
So just do whatever you want to do.
All right. Well, back okay.
What?
Never mind. So we'll try that again. Welcome back, everybody. This is Apartment Shenanigans. I'm Ben, and this is Avery.
Hello, hello.
And today I'm going to get his initial first impressions on the new Smash game that came out on the Switch.
Super Smash Brothers.
And we're just going to talk about it briefly and get some of his thoughts. He's played it this weekend a good bit. So let's get into it.
Basically, every time I've been awake, I've been playing it. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's a little addicted.
Always happens for a new game.
Right. So when did you hear that it was announced? I guess we'll start at the beginning.
Nintendo Direct? God, at least 7 months ago. I don't know exactly when, but they had a Nintendo Direct, and
okay, so you didn't hear about it like just recently. Well, like, you've been kind of looking for it for a while.
Yeah, like there were like rumors of what it was going to be called, who was going to be in it, and I remember I was at work and everyone was actually watching the Nintendo Direct at work together, and I had to like walk over to other people like, "You guys see that? Did you? All the characters are going to be in the game." And everyone was like freaking out about it.
Right. So they had like a actual press release or some kind of keynote speech about what was upcoming, and that's when you heard about it. Okay. When you heard that or you saw the keynote, what was your like initial thought? Obviously you were, I guess, excited about it, but like, did you have any like reservations or things you were kind of worried about like going into it, or was it all just like hype and excitement?
It's weird because like I didn't grow up playing the N64 version, which is like the first Smash Brothers. I played Melee, which was on the GameCube, with my brother and a few friends, like a lot. But we got a Wii, and then we started playing Brawl, the third Smash Brothers. And I mainly played that one. And like we had a group of friends, and we called ourselves the Brawl Brotherhood. Really stupid, but it was fun. And after school, we always got together and played it like for hours every day. And I never played Smash 4, the one that came out for the Wii U and the 3DS. I have a 3DS, but didn't get it. I played it twice, maybe. And I know a lot of people like it, but everyone always goes back to Melee. So with this one, owning a Switch, I was like, I need to get Smash. Like, what kind of Switch owner doesn't have Smash?
Yeah, I feel like Melee is kind of like the one most people remember and played a lot. I don't know if that's because like the time between the N64 one and then the GameCube one came out, and then the time till the next one came out was like larger chunks, so that like spanned like more time where a lot of people that was the only one to play.
It's weird
besides
though,
N64, but
because
maybe that's not.
The GameCube was like a really cheap console. Like my brother and I, we saved our money and bought it together. Like our parents didn't get that for us, but it was a really underrated console at the same time. Like, if you think of like,
it was almost like kind of ahead of its time too, at least for Nintendo, but at the same time
and like
not.
The
small discs. They were kind of on that bleeding edge of that, like the UMDs for the original PSP, I think, used those. Whatever they were UMDs that I specifically remember. They were like cartridge like mini discs.
Yeah.
And even for PC and stuff, because if you look at a PC DVD tray, which is like almost non-existent now anyways, there's the smaller section in it and then the larger section. And people were like really pushing to get the small discs. Like everyone thought that was going to be the way of the future, but we just kind of like almost like HD DVD and Blu-ray. There was a little bit of a fight, but like anybody that kind of already knew how technology worked and stuff, they didn't see the mini disc like taking off because they already knew like flash drives and digital storage was like starting, but it wasn't like
it's kind of funny
cheap
Nintendo
like it is now.
Nintendo seems like just so confused when it comes to just like the packaging of their game. Not packaging, but like they had a deal with like Sony before the N64 came out, and they were going to make a console together. And Nintendo was like, no, we gotta stay with cartridge base. We have to. And then Sony's like, no, we gotta go disc. And then Nintendo ended up they broke their deal.
Yeah, they split up.
They split up, but they did something like that was illegal. So Sony was like, "Well, f you guys, we're gonna make our own system with disc based," and then Nintendo did the cartridge stuff. Like Nintendo always is different from everyone else.
Right. Well, if you're talking like at that point, the Sega Dreamcast then too, like that was disc based, and there was a web browser and like online gameplay with like the original Final Fantasy, or maybe it wasn't the original, but the first online one. Mm-hmm. And that console died because it was too far ahead of its time. So Nintendo tends to be like a year or two behind in technology, in the delivery system of the game.
But like even now, like the Switch, like DS, 3DS, Switch, they're all cartridges, and they
I think that's kind of Nintendo's like nostalgic game company branding is what they're sticking to. So even if it's a digital game, they're still putting like the digital files onto basically a specifically shaped flash drive, which is all an SD card is also, but like just for that nostalgic thing, because now they've kind of owned that as like, this is our brand. Like people are going brand association with that, just like say like performance, like exercise wear. Like most people think of like Under Armour first, like they just do, because they've just done such a good like more lifestyle branding or whatever, to like, oh, I'm an exercise person, I have to wear like Under Armour for whatever reason.
Fun fact, the person who started Under Armour is from Maryland.
Yeah, fun fact, I know a girl that somehow family married relation or something like that to the original owner. Or to the owner of some kind, or at least knows them.
Or the higher ups.
Like, no, the owner.
Oh
yeah, no, I know. It's the owner or the first owner or whatever. I haven't talked to her in forever. But yeah. So we kind of covered a bit of like Nintendo's history and stuff there. And we were talking about hype, and then what was the next step after like the hype sort of started to die down? Was that when the Switch was announced?
Died down for Smash?
Yeah.
I don't think
like what was the next thing, because it was like, I don't really remember anything on the Nintendo radar, at least from there, and like Odyssey, a couple other like game announcements, but it was just like, it went from like, I guess that keynote to like the launch of the Switch, there wasn't really much in there, but maybe that's just me not paying attention.
They said Smash was going to, a Smash game was going to come to the Switch. They never announced it when the Switch got released. When the Switch was released, it was all about Zelda. Why didn't they do
Smash on the release of the Switch? Because they could have done Zelda. Odyssey, Zelda and Smash. All three of those would have been like a fantastic like way to launch it, and they could have done 3 like specialized consoles.
They could have, but the thing is, when you think about it, they already had like the port for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and then they had Zelda. Zelda sold the Switch. It made
right. Well, that's why I'm saying, like, it almost seems like to me, marketing wise, they could have done like 3 special edition consoles.
But then all the hype would be made like at the peak when the Switch got released, and then it will just die down.
Well, but then it still gives like 3 good reasons to still buy the Switch after that.
I guess,
you know, because you have those, and they could have done some other exclusive like things in game for those.
But like they had, and like if you think about the Switch's launch titles, people were very indifferent. It was Zelda, obviously people bought it for. Mm-hmm. There's Mario Kart because no one had a Wii U really to play Mario Kart.
Yeah.
And then they had the other more original IPs like ARMS. That was like the fighting game. They're pretty competitive actually. And after that, everyone was like, there's like these other ports of third-party titles, but what else is there? You had to wait, and then you had to wait for Odyssey, then you had to wait for Splatoon 2.
Yeah, so it seems like they were time gating it to try and keep that hype train or level like at a more plateau on the upper end of the spectrum.
Yeah, definitely.
Instead of like releasing 3, I don't know, if it was me, which I'm not a marketing person or anything, but looking at it, like my personal thought would have been to do like release 3 big games, 3 special edition type of consoles, and then just like a base console that came with like Mario or something, in the traditional Nintendo way. but had it like different skins, different paint jobs on the actual chassis of the console, and the Joy-Cons that come with it. Have like the Zelda one be like green with the Triforce and like a shield and sword, and the Mario one been, you know what I mean? Just kind of different. Like they eventually they did with the DS Lite or something.
Like a Zelda themed one?
Or at least
they have
like
Zelda themed Switches now, but like honestly,
but I don't know if that would have worked out well for them because
to make the Switch like
guy.
A theme, you make the dock look different, and then the Joy-Cons have different colors or like one small design. Like the Smash Switch console, the dock itself just has like the Smash like circle, like the Smash ball.
Yeah,
it's like the logo, like that's the logo for it. The dock itself has it on like the corner, and I think one controller has like one line, the other controller has the rest of the symbol. Like it's not that great of.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It doesn't look that great.
They could have done more to make that like a thing. Like the Smash one, they could have painted the chassis of the console different, and then had like, you know, some art on it, and then the dock be like painted, maybe not painted, but they could have made the Smash Ball logo with like a little LED in it where it lights up. That would be really cool. Like that would be a distinguishing thing. Like, yes, I like the Switch, but I'm really like. The hardcore fans of that would buy that. Just like special edition Xboxes that come out that are like the Call of Duty edition or whatever, you know, that have they're literally just a base regular console, but like there's some people that like they could pay a lot more money for those and get that specific thing. But you also have like D-Brand that you could just put skins on top of.
D-Brand actually messed up the Switch. When the got announced and everything, the adhesive that they use, when you peeled it off, it took the plastic off of the Switch in the dock. And like D-Brand, I actually was looking at the site a few months back, and they even give you a warning now, like this might cause damage to your console or your controllers if you peel this off. And I think either D-Brand or Nintendo, one of the two, like gave out some like warranties or something after that happened.
Yeah, which I mean that's a bit separate. Like, yeah, you can customize them, but like still, if you're putting a vinyl skin on it, it's not the same as having like
having
a dock that lights up.
Yeah.
Or like it would have been super cool for the Smash one to have the logo that lights up on the front and like a cutout logo on the back with a light through it that then shines the big Smash Ball logo on the wall behind the TV.
And you're just thinking like that would be really expensive for them to do.
Well, but like manufacturing wise, it wouldn't be that expensive. I mean, yeah, there's some extra R&D and tooling involved, but
whenever it's like a small LED, they charge you so much. Even though it's a really simple, cheap thing to do, they still do.
Yeah.
But the Switch itself.
But they could have done a limited release of like 500 or 1,000 units like that.
But the Switch compared to the Xbox and the PlayStation, the Xbox and PlayStation can make such great limited edition consoles. Like the Spider-Man PS4, it was just a red PlayStation with a big white Spider-Man logo. The Kingdom Hearts PlayStation that's coming out, it's like black but has like the Kingdom Hearts symbols and emblems all over it. The Switch can't really do that like at all because it's such a small console. It's supposed to be a hybrid. Like, yeah, they changed the Joy-Cons up, but like I said, they not
still paint like the back of it a different color, and like the bezel around the screen could be different. Like you definitely could.
You could, but then who looks at the back of the Switch? Most people have a case on their Switch or like a grip to make it feel a little bit more comfortable when you play it handheld. It's just it's a little difficult. I don't know.
I don't know, because I've seen a lot of like custom. Maybe it's just because I'm so far into the like DIY like stuff. Like I've seen custom original Game Boys that people have like sandblasted and like dyed the plastic different colors or painted them or whatever, like really custom stuff.
But that's the thing, it's DIY.
Right. No, I know. But like I'm saying
anything you do
there's
DIY,
also niche like PC OEM builders like Exotic PC or Origin PC that do things like that. Yeah, you're paying like a lot more money for that computer than if you just bought the parts and assembled it yourself, but you're getting like more warranty on top. You're getting like QA parts and stuff, but you're also paying for like the custom artwork on the case and things and the mods to it.
But I feel like anything DIY is gonna be better than you can get anything stock. And
right, I'm not saying
you mentioned like the LEDs and stuff. There's like a lot of people who do mods, like specifically I'm thinking for iPhones, like how the older Macs, the one that we use right here, the Apple logo lights up when you open it up from the LEDs and the keyboard and everything. There's mods that people have made for the new iPhones and iPads, or when your phone's on, the Apple logo on the back of the iPhone will light up, and I think that's a really cool idea. And it'll be super simple for Apple to implement it. They just choose not to.
Right.
And same with another thing I was thinking about, and was it Apple? Like even the new MacBooks and stuff, they don't have the LED anymore. They just took it out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just small things like that would be really cool, but they just choose not to do them.
Yeah, well, that's why I was saying, like, do a limited run of special edition ones. Maybe I'm thinking that's so easy, not easy, but like worthwhile, because there's been small. Like I've been buying a lot more products from smaller businesses that do special limited edition releases, like in runs of this or that, like, you know, where they only make 1,000 units like that, and then when they're sold out, but they cost, you know, not like $1,000 more, but they might cost like $100 more or something if it's a console or whatever. But it's just like some exclusive stuff for people that really like the brand or really like the game, like they're willing to pay for it to have those things. But anyways, enough of our like sort of not so much rant, but
we got sidetracked.
Divergence from our path here. So you got the Switch, you played Odyssey, and you played Zelda a ton on it, and then you kind of put it away until Smash came out. Like you're very hot and
Splatoon.
Not. You didn't play that near as much.
Almost 80 hours, I think.
Okay, maybe I just didn't see it.
Nah, it was when we were here.
It's been like, I think you're more of a casual Switch player because you don't just play it constantly all the time. Like you play PC and PlayStation like way more.
I'll say because they have more games, and right now the Switch is more.
But you're very hot and then not with the Switch. Like, yes, a new game comes out, you really want to play it, and you play it, and then you like beat it, or you get enough satisfaction out of it, and then you like kind of dock it again and like don't play it until the next thing comes out. I don't know if that's the case for all of our listeners or stuff that anyone that has a Switch. But so the next one after that was Smash, and you've been playing it pretty much all weekend. You got it Thursday night at midnight or Friday?
Yeah,
and you played it like at lunch.
Played it at lunch at work.
You went to a coworker's house on Friday, and if Saturday you played a lot of the story and things. So what? When you first booted it up, did you play it by yourself for the first time, like, or did you just go right into playing with friends?
Yeah, actually, we at lunch at work we turned it on. Like a lot of people actually left to go to like a Target and pick the physical copy up. But like 3 people, Mike, Eric, and I, we had the digital, so we went into a conference room and we just booted up, played right there with like the first 8 characters they give you. We just played for an hour.
What was your first impression when you turned it on? You hit start me from when you like clicked to launch the game. Walk me through like
excitement
from there to the end of your lunch break.
Excitement. I was like, I don't know. I just like games. So
I
was just excited. I was like,
you probably got giddy and like really excited or
yeah,
whatever.
because like we had this group chat going at work, and like throughout the group chat we're like, hey, who's getting to Smash? We're playing. We're going to this conference room. I got it booked. Okay, we're good. We got our lunch. We ate lunch early so that we could just play Smash and not even eat during lunch. So we got in the room, just turned that on, and fucking just.
That's it.
It was just like, okay, so you turn it on. The logo, just Smash Ultimate, just big and bold, and then you see Kirby standing in the freaking like desert area. It just looks so freaking epic, and it's weird because it's Kirby.
Yeah.
And then like the music, I told you, it's like almost like a Disney Ariel song that's playing, singing like the new Smash theme song. But going right into just this normal Smash, and me not really playing Smash 4, like I said, it just felt good. It felt
like coming home.
Yeah, kind of like everything's
so you think it's pretty similar to Melee, the mechanics and
not Melee, more Brawl. And like I said, I played Brawl more.
Okay, that's right. You played that one more.
So like it felt like Brawl, and it just looked and it felt polished, but it was my first Smash game in a while that I played. Like playing on the freaking nunchuck and the Wiimote is so different from playing on a more traditional controller with the Switch and Pro controller.
Yeah. I can totally see that.
So like, and everyone's all gung-ho about playing on the GameCube controllers where like A was the big green button and B was this white right below it, and Y and X. I get why people like it. I get why it really does help with Smash, but playing it on a traditional,
more or less Xbox controller,
it felt so weird. Like the configuration they had, I was lost. I couldn't play. Like everyone was just dying left and right, not doing anything. And we actually changed a lot of the controls up, but like now I'm just so used to it because I've been playing it all weekend, and it's just a fun game.
What was that experience like, being at this new place and having coworkers that were really interested to play it, and then you just like sit down with them to play it for the first time instead of like waiting till you get home to play it, or like playing it by yourself like you did with Odyssey and stuff at the previous place when you and I worked together. You kind of played it on your lunch break and stuff. What was that? Was it obviously it's different, but like
at our old place, there was Rick who like had the Switch and he was really big into it. So like Odyssey came out and like I played it at midnight or whatever it was, and like the next day Rick would be like, "Oh, you play it? How far did you get?" So we talked about it, but we didn't play together. It's not a multiplayer game,
right?
Even like Splatoon is like, "Oh, like how are you enjoying it?" But like the fact that the hype was all right there, like we have 5, maybe 6 Switch owners, and then we all were just. It's like what you see in the Switch commercial. You see these people at a park, like docking.
All these like 12-year-olds, yeah.
And like everyone just
was it like a flashback kind of to being a kid with your
almost just playing like locally with friends, like your split screen.
Did you have a Game Boy SP?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it like going back to those days?
The link cable.
Pokemon and like plugging in together. Like,
kind of.
Because that's kind of what it felt like. That's what I'm imagining in my head.
Like even one of my bosses,
all of these
like
grown adults, like
we are on this like small square table because we didn't think so many people would be wanting to play. So we were on a small square table, 4 chairs, and then my boss comes over to me. He's like, "Oh shit, you're playing? Okay." And like I brought extra spare Joy-Cons, so I just sync the Joy-Cons up. He started playing it like. And the Switch is kind of small, so when it's docked on a table and you're playing it,
it's small for like 4 people to play in the tabletop mode. Yeah.
So it's me and my boss, and he's right next to me. He ends up getting like 3 more chairs from out the office, brings it to the small conference room, and we're just staring at the screen, and we're doing like 6 or 7 player Smash, and like it gets so hectic.
Yeah.
And everyone's just we don't know what we're doing. It was a good moment. And then
it sounds really interesting because it sounds like where you're at now is also a really different dynamic than when we worked together. The work environment's entirely different, but you also have like coworkers that they might not be close to your age, but like their interests are still like super high in the same areas.
Right. Like even like God of War, when that came out for PlayStation, everyone was playing that at work. Everyone was talking about it.
Yeah.
People are all talking about Red Dead Redemption. Like I don't have it, but people like they're all very specific. Like they follow the hype train for these games. When they release, they get them. They play them. Spider-Man. We've been talking about that still because of the DLCs.
Yeah, it definitely sounds I know the environment isn't, but it sounds like the type of people and the way the interaction goes is kind of like a smaller software development company or like a small IT firm.
I mean, our IT department is probably like 15 people total of what we consider IT, not including CMIC. That including them is like 30.
Yeah, and like where I'm at, it's an even smaller team because if you don't count the developers, it's 3 people.
Yeah. But everyone does have like their small cliques of those 15 people, but like everyone still gets together, has fun. Like even like this Tuesday we're going to Dave and Buster's and we'll see how that is. Yeah,
and since mine is even smaller than that because it's 3 people if you don't count the like 6 developers or whatever, which don't really I don't technically consider them part of IT, but they are, I guess, technically. That's like who they report to or whatever. But at least with the people I work with, like that's not our interests. Like it's a guy with 2 kids and then another guy that's like 50 or 60, something like that like has no interest in games or anything. Like, he's just been there forever, and he just ended up in IT.
Yeah.
So I don't really get to like talk about anime or like anything that's not technical IT related stuff with them.
Yeah.
Like with any sort of excitement or whatever. It's
yeah, like there's definitely...
I saw this movie, and they're like, cool. Or I'm like,
I saw Wreck-It Ralph 2.
I binged this whole anime this weekend.
Why'd you watch a kid's movie?
Yeah, they're like, cool. Like, way to keep up the nerdy IT stereotype with your anime background. Someone said this week.
Would you say anime's IT stereotype? I would say like games
mom's
and
basement dweller type, which kind of falls in, I guess, more specifically like programmer, not developer. But
funny thing,
the general like nerdy IT area, like definitely video games and anime, movie, like Marvel movies, things like that.
It's funny that you say like Mother's Basement Dweller, because one of my favorite anime YouTubers' name is Mother's Basement.
Yeah, well, and I'm thinking of that South Park meme with the fat bald guy, like sitting in his chair with his
playing
screens.
WoW.
Yeah, like that's a lot of people's like idea of it, even though that stereotype has changed more. Like, you and I don't fit that category at all. I especially don't. Being, I guess, like a trendy nerdy hipster that likes video games, like that's, I mean, we're being objectively honest, like that's kind of what most people would peg me into.
You are more of a casual gamer too, though. Like, yeah, you're a PC master race, but you play casually. You don't play often at all.
Oh, really. Yeah. I mean, I play a couple nights a week or so if I can.
Yeah.
But it's not like I live and breathe. Like, I'll stay up till 3 or 4 in the morning every night to play.
But like, I am definitely like more of a gamer than you from the amount of time I do play.
Yeah.
And like, I own 3, Switch, PlayStation, and PC now.
Yeah. I would definitely say you enjoy games more than I do, and you take them more serious than I do. Whereas for me, it's like kind of an escape for when I can, whereas you use it specifically as a way to like unwind and relax.
Unwind,
like,
relax,
spend your time
and like
to enjoy. Whereas I just kind of will flip something
it's like
nonchalantly on TV that I just like sit there and not do anything.
And also, like, other people are like, oh, I like games for this reason, or I like only first-person shooters. And I'm just like, I like any kind of game that has an interesting concept, and I like games for the narrative, so I play them for the story.
Yeah, I really like the deep story for, like, first-person shooters and stuff would be, like, generally what I would play.
Which is also not weird, but going to a game blind, or anything blind now, is really difficult.
Yeah, we just talked about this yesterday or something. But like, I don't find it hard to, because
you don't follow a lot of different things.
I guess because I'm more casual with my interests, it's a lot easier because I don't follow really like into whatever category, movies, games, or anything like Twitter accounts or YouTube or anything. I'm like, oh, a new Marvel trailer came out. Cool. I just don't watch it because
like, definitely, like,
I'm not that interested to find out. But like, going in blind is really cool and like kind of freeing, because then I'm free to draw my own conclusions without anything besides my own expectations going in.
I have this weird thing.
So when I'm playing a game more.
And I'm playing a game like specifically, like even Assassin's Creed Odyssey I was playing recently, I know nothing about the story. All I knew was like during the ancient Greece. Yeah. And as I'm playing it, I'm like, I had this like weird thought / feeling, I guess. I'm like, I don't know anything about this game. I don't know where the story's gonna take me. It's just like, I don't know if it's like a weird feeling or like a good feeling. I guess, I don't know.
Yeah,
but like, I don't get that feeling when I go into movies blind. It's specifically games, and I think that's because when I do play a game, I do put myself in the show. I'm like,
you're a bit more involved because you're actually
controlling,
more or less physically moving your character around.
When I'm playing God of War, like, boy, Atreus, don't do this. Like, I'm Kratos. Like,
yeah, and
even like, I remember back when I was in school playing around like Tracy or Rachel, and I remember I was playing Zelda, and I was like, it was like when it first came out, so I was playing almost all day, and I was like, oh dang, I'm hungry, I need to eat something. And Rachel was like, okay, I'll just make some food then. I was like, oh no, I was talking about Link. I was like
which anybody that knows, well, maybe not knows, but like anyone sort of don't know how to word it, but anyone that has any exposure to gaming, like people that are, gamers, wouldn't have been thrown off by that. Like they'd have just assumed.
But I've talked to people who are into games and stuff, and they think it's a little weird how I almost like throw myself onto the character. Like I know, like for some people that's the point, but I've talked to people like the way you do it is.
Yeah, I guess maybe your mechanic that you use, but like I almost cried in Gears of War 2.
Yeah,
when the story not twist, but like
with Dom and his wife.
Yeah, that thing. Like I almost cried. Like maybe I at least teared up.
Right.
And like that happened in Gears 4 also, or whatever the newer one is. So like I don't think it's that uncommon, and like I'll talk to the characters as I'm like playing, or when we watch movies and TV shows, I yell at the TV and the characters. Like I don't think it's that strange. I just think for people that are like really far removed from gaming in general would think it's weird. But people that like their boyfriend's really into games, or like even casually plays, because I do it and I would say a lot more casual than you are. I don't think like anyone would. Like my parents don't think it's weird for me to be talking to a video game, and they're like old.
And even like when like you've watched me play tons of games now, is like more specifically I'm thinking of God of War, or even probably mostly God of War I'm thinking as I'm playing it, and like the commentary I do when I'm playing. Like I feel like anyone who doesn't know me or just like kind of walked in and saw me playing and doing that, they're like, why is he trying to like make a show almost? I'm like, no, if I'm playing alone by myself, I still make this commentary. It's sometimes in my head.
No, sometimes I do that too, like playing games, but I also do that in my everyday life. I narrate my own life to myself out loud, like not even just mentally. Like I don't have an internal dialogue, it's external. I don't know how to, like, if I'm not externally like monologuing or whatever, there is nothing in my head. Like it's not going on in my head. It either happens externally or it doesn't happen.
Do you ever have times where like never mind, I think I've actually asked you this before and you're like, no, because I talk to myself. But like sometimes if I'm home alone all day and I'm playing a game, or I'm cleaning, or I'm doing something, watching a show, and I like think to myself like, it's been like 6 hours and I haven't said a single word all day, and it just is like a weird epiphany that I have.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but for me, I've never really consciously had that thought, because I do just like talk to myself. Yeah, and like say stuff, because I don't like silence.
The only time I might talk to myself if I'm alone is like I'm walking somewhere. I'm like, what was I doing again? Or I'm walking to get something. I'm like, oh wait, I need to get this out of the kitchen.
Yeah, no, I don't do that. I have full on conversations with myself, like especially if I'm like laying down to like go to bed or something's kind of bugging me, I'll like talk through the conversation out loud to myself, and like I'll have different, or maybe it's multiple, bends, and like they're all providing different ways of thinking and stuff. But like some of that is also the way I process information, and like my personality to look at every situation from as many points of view as I can to get a more accurate viewpoint of it.
Yeah.
But I definitely talk through things like that to myself out loud.
You said like multiple bends, like I started joking around doing it, and then you've even picked it up. I'm like, good job, Avery. Thanks, Avery.
Yeah, like, and I do that like just for fun to see if you notice and laugh about it.
Like I need to show you where I got that from.
I don't do
actually
that specific type, but I'll like,
which Ben knows how to drive? I don't know. I think I lost him.
Yeah, not quite like that to a crazy person, but I'll just rehash the conversation that I had if it was a really good conversation, and talk through it out loud, or I'll pretend to be the other person in the conversation, and just have the same conversation. The other day, coming home from work, when we had that happy hour, like I got to talk to the guy that did not my position, but the position above me, and then left. He came because it was like a going away party for our like interim IT director. So I got to talk to him about some stuff, and like I got to talk to my direct boss, and and stuff. And so like the whole way home, I like rehashed all the conversations that we had out loud in my car all the way home, and like even trying to like go to bed, I was still talking about it because it was just a really good, enjoyable conversation, and I was like really happy.
That's weird
with the outcome of it, and like I guess because in that specific one, like I really enjoy where I'm at, and it's really nice to have the people that I'm working with and the way that they are, like just work so great. I'm so happy and like thankful for it that like I just had the same conversation with them without them there by myself to myself.
Hey Ben, you want to hear something?
Yes.
That sounds a little crazy.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I definitely don't have anything like that.
I don't know. I can't help it. Like working on the car or something, I'll have full blown like conversations like about politics or whatever, because that's how I like process and like digest information, is to talk to myself about it as I'm doing something else. Like if I'm stressed, I'll like do something physical. Like,
I've had people tell me numerous times, I wish I could see what goes on in your head or be you for a day, just to see what it's like, because like I say a lot of random stuff, or just what, like even yesterday I randomly laughed in the car. You're like, what did you laugh at? I was like, oh well,
I looked at that happened 6 hours ago.
Yeah, like I was like, I looked at my phone background, I was like, it was Kingdom Hearts, but then I remembered at work we were talking about this, and then I thought about it and I laughed, and you're like, what the heck? I was like, I want to know how your freaking brain works now. And how
you bounce, like your connections you make to things are weird, but like they're just how your brain works. But I find it interesting and kind of funny. Weird. Have you ever played? Now that we're just completely off topic, but have you ever played like a word association game where someone like gives you like blue, and then you say the first thing that comes to mind? Yeah, things like that. It always gives me an inch. Or talking about like food and like the flavors or the spices and stuff, how you associate different memories and things is always super interesting to me.
The moment you said the word association game, I started playing it in my head as you were talking. And
another great podcast episode.
The second you said food, I was like, curry, because I want curry right now. Like, oh god.
So, all right, let's try to bring this train back on the rails here. So you played Smash all weekend. Overall thoughts, give me like 3 sentences. That's it. Of what you have seen so far.
Great local and online fighting game for casuals and non-casuals.
You sound like you're writing a blurb for the back of like the side of a game review column.
Please make it easier and faster to unlock characters.
I'm not sure anyone at Nintendo is listening.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, that's one thing. Like, that's my complaint about the game. I want all the characters from the get-go, or just make it a lot faster and easier to get them.
Okay. One more thought.
It's just fun. It's a good game.
Okay. Would you recommend it and give it a rating from
Would I
0
recommend
to 10?
this game? Of course I would recommend this game to anyone. I would tell
anyone, period? Would you tell someone to get a Switch just to get this game because it's that good?
If I was telling someone to get a Switch...
Just in general, blanket, John Doe. Not someone to give a specific like recommendation to. General public, parents getting the console for their kids for Christmas.
Yes.
Would you recommend it?
Yes. Kid for Christmas, get this game. Adult who's interested in any kind of game, get it.
That's not what I asked.
Shut up. Yes. Get the game, get the console for this game, and then your life will be better, and you'll learn that the Switch has so many more amazing exclusives and third-party ports.
Sweet. So give me a 0 to 10 rating.
It's hard to say because I haven't beaten it yet.
So? It doesn't matter. You've played it enough to have a full appreciation of what the game is without knowing how it ends, because there's actually a really in-depth story mode, which is interesting, especially coming because I played Melee and that was the last one.
Brawl was awesome. That had an awesome story.
But anyways, so give it a rating.
8.7
out of 10.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
funny thing, real fast, Brawl had a story mode that people loved, and Sakurai, the guy who created Smash, he was really mad that people posted spoilers on the internet about the story mode that he created, and because of that, he chose not to put a story mode into Smash 4, even though fans wanted it. He was like, nope, I don't want spoilers being posted, so not happening. So I think that's really funny.
All right, and closing thought. Give me one word to describe the game, and don't just be like, oh, it's amazing or awesome.
Only one word.
Yep, one word to sum it up.
To describe the whole game.
Yep, entire experience.
One word. Not even a phrase, a sentence?
We'll give you up to 3 words. That's it. And the counts as a word.
Okay, I can do this.
Epically fantastic, amazing.
I got this. Give me a second.
Okay, you're fine. We're just waiting with dead air.
Great nostalgic fun.
Okay, you heard it here, people.
You heard it here first. Right here, Apartment Shenanigans. Only place you can get this weird content.
This weird quality content, if that's your opinion.
I mean, yeah, smash the game, so freaking thoughts in your head.
Yeah,
this episode was everywhere. I love it.
That's what you come here for.
Apartment
You're along for the ride. Well, this has been a great episode. So I'm Ben.
And I'm Avery.
And we're signing off. We'll talk to you next time.
See ya.